So welcome to Type 5 One Mic. It's my new live stream show every Thursday night. It's Thursday, right? I forget the days, quarantine. I forget the days.
Yeah.
But I am truly honored to have one of my favorite folks in Orlando as my first guest ever on this show. Um, and his name is Ross McCoy, or L. Ross on the bill. Hey, L. Ross, how are you, bud?
Hey, Sareth, I'm great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you thinking of me for your first show. That's awesome. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, it's a blessing for sure, and I thank you for sending me your Type 5. I enjoyed it. I watched it again just recently, and just to pull out some questions for you, and what Type 5 One Mic is like we go and deep dive in your top five and talk about where the inspirations come from for each joke. And then afterwards, I'll interview you with my the questions that I asked you at the Trinidad when I think it was like around the time we first met or something like that. And so we'll bring all that back because I think some of the answers might change because it's been like years.
Yeah, maybe they will. Because maybe I've read a different books other than Steve Martin's autobiography since then.
Indeed. So we'll dive into your set at the Improv. What was the story behind the Ross Dress for Less undercover boss thing? Where did that come from?
Was it Undercover Boss? No, it was just that I would have the same name tag. That was just my attempt. I got started I took a comedy class at the Improv, and they really pushed the make a joke about your name thing. Like that was a big part of the curriculum. And so everybody kind of had one of those. And I had that one where, if I got a job at Ross Dress for Less, my name would just be on the tag, and that would fuck with people's minds. I thought that was funny. But, I didn't hate that joke, and I used it for a long time. I got rid of that. Somebody pointed out to me, Eric Myers has a Ross Dress for Less joke, which is completely different. But somebody else is like, somebody said with the wrong tone of voice one day, Eric Myers also has a Ross Dress for Less joke. And I was like, yeah, and his is better, so fuck it, I'll drop that one.
For sure. And the a-hole joke followed, and that joke had me dying. Like, what was like what happened with that joke? Where did that stem from?
Oh, I legitimately I don't since I've had this joke, I don't do it as much, but I used to be the kind of person who would say quite frequently, "Oh, so I'm the asshole here? Like I'm the asshole in this situation? Oh, I'm the like." That's from real life. And it's funny. I remember that was my first. This whole set is kind of. I'm sorry that the tape is so old, but like you legitimately, this was my host set for a long time. I did this set that we'll see through, the car race bit. That was kind of my hosting set for years and years and years. And it was also the first set that I memorized. That I had like a set list, and I had like. When you asked me, you're like, what are the names for these jokes? I was like, oh, when I do this set, I call it Asshole, Yep, Dinosaurs and Transformers, Lazy, Kids Learning to Cheat, Car Race. I had, that was the first time I did a set enough times repetitively to have it where I could just get up on stage and do it front, back. Somebody interrupts me, doesn't matter, get right back into it. That first set that I really committed to heart.
Indeed. And how about the yep joke? That one was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and then that starts getting into the kid stuff, and it's just different stuff. My kid legitimately said that to me one day. I was like, "Hey, how much do you love me?" And this little fucker did throw his hands up like really nice, and you could tell he thought about it. That one wrote it fucking self. It was just literally something that happened to me.
Man, and that the whole block with the dinosaurs and Transformers. That's just...
Kid said that. The kid fucking said that one day. The kid asked me about Pangea and he fucking gave me the hand. I didn't make any of that up. I'm just regurgitating my life at that point. And yeah, kids are fucking funny. It's not a new formula. These are just my kids.
Oh man, and like the lazy joke block was the pee in the bathtub, and I'm like, I could totally relate to that.
Yeah, that just I at a certain point I kind of started deciding to like rework. I tried to rework like knock knock jokes and like just basic stuff and phrases. At one point I got real into phrases, and I made a joke about the phrase stand, sit, lie down. I don't even know where that phrase comes from. I just know it's a phrase and people respond to it. Wrote a joke about it.
Indeed. And then
And the
the
real kicker to that one is like that joke always works because I say, "Hey, lazy people, raise your hand," and a couple people do raise their hand, and I go, "A couple of you are too lazy to raise your hands," and there are always people in the audience who are like, "You know what? You got me. It's true. It's 100%. That one works 100% of the time."
and I love your crowd work too. Like when you with the Julian Hitler, like who said it? It's like, oh man, that gets me every time. It's good stuff.
Well, Sareth, I'm afraid of crowd work. All my crowd work is like just all set up to elicit the same response. It's fake crowd work, dude. I'm terrified of crowd work. Crowd work's the scariest thing in stand up to me, and also the hardest to practice. You know, like I always feel like, how are you going to practice it if you fuck up a bunch of crowd work? You just ruin the audience for everybody else. Open mic or showcase or whatever, you just ruin the audience for everybody. So it always scared me, and it was always hard for to practice. And that's why I wrote stuff like Toast, where like it seems like I'm working with the crowd, but I'm just tricking the crowd into saying what I want.
Awesome stuff. That's good stuff. I love it. And you had the toothbrush inspected by Inspector
Oh
Zero.
yeah. Oh, that's where like an old video comes into play. Like I said, this one and the next one never got told again because they bombed here tonight at the Improv in this tape. So and that's also where like this set is I had it kind of designed to where I got asshole, yep, dinosaurs and transformers and lazy. I got like a nice little chunk up front that I know I can elicit a bunch of laughs, and then I had a little bit of leeway here where I could try out a dumb toothbrush joke or this fucking elephant joke that's about to come up, and then I knew I had the car race to bring them back in at the end. So I this is my experimental like this. So this set was designed for me to fuck around in this minute and a half here.
Indeed, and
And
that
in
was
this
just
instance, I lose them. I lose them all the way.
yeah. I was like, this joke, the next joke, the elephants never forget 9/11.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like where was like it was like a delayed laugh. I'm like, come on, guys, this is hilarious. I thought it was funny.
It's 35% of a joke. If there was maybe a little bit something more to it, it might be a joke. But yeah, that's a tweet at best.
Indeed, and the car race with the $20, and that one.
Again, a little bit. That one cooked up a little bit. It's a true story. One day, like my kids did honestly have this game they love to play where they wanted to see who would go touch the door, and I did fuck with them real hard with it one day, and I made it impossible for them to win when I said money was on the line. And then the ending of it all is more made up part. But so that one's like 85% a thing that I did to my kids, and then
And
and then a little bit of punching up, and then I remember this joke being I remember doing this joke at the Bull and Bush, and in the moment deciding to call back to the asshole thing, which was brand new to me that day. And I remember like in the moment deciding to call back to that and doing it. I got a laugh from Nick Pupo. Nick Pupo was there, and it made him laugh. And I was like, fuck me, I got a laugh from Nick Pupo. That's my new joke, dude. That's my new joke. I was so hyped after that happened. It was so fucking.
I agree that yeah, and when you incorporate the yep with the callback with the a-hole, it's just like, man, that's such a great set at the Improv. I'm like, that was awesome just to bring everything in like in that time frame.
And
And
then that set at the Improv was a result of like I did that at I don't know 200 or 300 open mics, just going to open mics and doing that exact same set, maybe a little bit of fuck around in the fuck around period, like I said, but doing that same asshole, yep, dinosaurs and transformers, lazy, car race, the whole set until I could like say that literally in my. I'm pretty drunk right now. I got it. I know I could do that set front backwards in my sleep. It was the first one I really committed to heart, and it helped me out as a comedian for a long time.
most definitely. And speaking of Bull and Bush, like how did the shit sandwich and you tag teaming with Doug, all that like happened? Like how did that happen?
The Bull and Bush was our friend Matt Gersting's local pub for a long time, and he was a fan of the trivia night. They do trivia there. Previous to current situations, they did trivia there 2 Saturdays a month, and then he was a pinball aficionado. He knew a lot about scooters and music. He was in bands, and he also loved comedy. He started doing stand up around town, and decided to start his own night. Approached the Bull and Bush, and they said, "Yeah, dude, let's do it on the off trivia night Saturdays." And he was pretty much the first guy in town. I kind of started the same time as he did, and there were at that time open mics where you know show up, sign up type stuff. There were, you know, you worked your way up to a guest spot. He was kind of the first guy in this town that said, "Hey, I want to do a showcase at this place. I want to book my favorite 10 guys that, you know, they don't have a feature set yet, but they got a good 5 or 10 minutes. I want to book those people, have a good lineup on a Saturday night, and really present a quality show that is, you know, just short of something you would pay for."
Indeed,
And,
Mike.
and I was lucky enough that he kind of in the original, like I said, he was the first guy to decide that he wanted to do a showcase in this town. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, and he also wanted to do rotating hosts. But at that time, nobody wanted to host, and I wanted to get experience hosting, and so just every other Saturday, I would call or text or Facebook message Matt and ask him, "Hey, you got a host?" And most of the time, he didn't. So just eventually got to the point where he was like, "It's easier just to don't text me. Just show up on Saturdays, and if you're not in, I'll let you know." And that's kind of how I fell into it. And then Doug, also a regular at the bar, started doing comedy a little bit after me and Matt. And then when we lost Matt, Doug stepped in to fill the Booker role at the Bull Bush.
Indeed, and that the Bull and Bush is like by far, like, not to kiss your butt or anything, but it's by far my favorite room to perform in, and it's such a huge honor when you and Doug pick, me, and I get so cheesed, and even if I'm not even on the bill, I'll show up, and I live between Jacksonville and Daytona just to go and support your show, and just support the comics, because we're all friends there, and all the cool comics just gather there, like on those Saturday nights that you do have it, and it's packed every time I go, and it's such a awesome intimate setting, and it's like awesome.
It's accidentally a great comedy room. It's got a nice low ceiling. It's a real tight little room. Once Scott got rid of that pillar for one of the comedy fests, it opened up a little bit, and it's got that little tiny stage up front, which is just all you need in that little room. And then, tiny little amplifiers enough. And then Scott working the bar, slinging Scotch eggs and the best Guinness pour in Orlando. I'm really upset that it's not open right now, man. I've been jonesing for that place for so long. It's so sad.
Indeed, I hope they come back, and they're an awesome staff, and they're always friendly behind the bar. I always get
Hopefully
waved
they
at.
can hand make enough Scotch eggs to become a restaurant, and become a restaurant and start serving.
Absolutely. And you took your show on the road, from the Bull and Bush and Sandwich with the Tumbleweed tour, and started having at Johnny's Other Side, and that's where we met. And another time that we met, and at the Tomoka Brewing in Ormond Beach. Like, how did you link up with like Tom and Dan and bring that on tour and stuff?
Yeah, that was a function of being on Tom and Dan. I was podcasting a long, long time ago. It seems like the Stone Age now. On Somacal with my friend Mickey and Jeff and Jay and Jen and the whole Somacal crew. That's how I got started. And then, after that, I got into Tom and Dan. And then, Tumbleweed kind of became a function of that. It was just, I had a promotional platform and an ability to gather an audience pretty much anywhere and then I ripped off Matt's format. I was like, let me get my 10 best comedian friends who can appear on any given night. And I also, there was a little bit of money involved, so I tried to share out the money a little bit with people, and which amounted to about $1 a minute for most comedians on a Tumbleweed show. But a lot of people, it was their first paying gig, or as little as it was, people could get buy a beer, and I was kind of proud of that. I was always proud that Tumbleweed always paid. That's what I said. If it was a charity show or something, I would not put the Tumbleweed name to it. Ross McCoy will do a charity show at the drop of a hat, but the comedians have to get paid for a Tumbleweed show. That was always my thing.
Indeed, and I was like, when you paid me at Johnny's Other Side, I was so cheesed, because I was like, I couldn't believe that I could get paid for doing stand up, and it was just like, Alex Gasparini, and I went out there and we drove out there, and man, it was just like, and for you guys to for me to vouch for people that I did stand up with my pal in Chicago and Alex and stuff. It's like, man, I'm so glad you guys trusted me and with the vouchers, and gave those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know if you say somebody's good, they're gold. Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed, and And with your podcast, Dave, you started a new one called the Orlando Talk Show with Ross. How did that come about? And your producers, you can mention them on there. And we got some viewers in the audience now, so we're pretty stoked.
Okay.
Comment in the chat box and join us if you'd like.
Show your throwing axes and tomahawks in the chat.
There you go.
Yeah, basically, I'd wanted to do a podcast for a long time, but I didn't have really the best idea I kind of have. And I still want to do this. I want to do a mystery science theater type show with Twin Peaks called Twin Speaks. And yeah, I'll get around to that someday. But that was kind of the best idea I had until I came up with just kicking around names. I was like, the Orlando Talk Show. Okay, Tots. I was like, maybe that's enough to do a show on. And it turns out that people really engaged on the tater tot aspect of it all. So I sort of a secret genius in that respect. It did work. People love tater tots. And by co-branding myself with those delicious little crispy treats, it's working.
Indeed. My favorites are sweet potato tots. And so
really, I'm not a sweet potato guy. I actually ordered food today and replaced sweet potatoes on the item.
Oh man, good stuff. And so
I got the Thursday turkey special at Cracker Barrel today, and it comes with sweet potato casserole. I was like, give me the hash brown casserole instead, please. Thank you.
I haven't gone back since, but their mac and cheese is bomb though. I gotta say, there's some good stuff.
I don't know what it is. I think with the social distancing and reduced capacity or whatever, I think they have less food going at a time. It was fucking delicious today. The Cracker Barrel crushed it, dude. It was amazing.
Awesome stuff. So we'll throw back to the time that we went. I met you at the Tomoka Brewing, and
yeah,
and then we went to the Nog afterwards.
Yes,
in your wife's van at the time, and we rode together at the Nog. And so I think this is a good time to bring back that time we had a Q&A at the Nog. So
okay.
So yeah, let's see if the answers have updated. So, what inspired you to perform stand-up comedy?
What did the only stand-up I had, I know everybody's like, I had all these tapes as a kid. The only tape I had as a kid was Dennis Leary, No Cure for Cancer, and I listened to that a million times. And the Asshole song, I fucking loved Dennis Leary, and then I've told this story before, but when I decided to get into comedy personally, was I heard Adam Carolla one time talking about how easy it was to make money at comedy, and I was like, I should do that then. And then I started going to open mics and stuff, and by the time I figured it out, it was too late.
Awesome. And James Patterson says it's a great interview so far, so thanks, James. And let's see, and what was the feeling like when you first performed stand-up?
The first time was really good. I had, it was the classic, not enough material, spit it out too fast. I don't know. That set is on my same YouTube. I sent you the link to and everything if you want to review that. But you don't. It was a classic, but I had setup, punchline. I had stuff. It wasn't great, and I didn't have good stage presence, and I didn't move the mic out of the way or anything. But dude, it felt fucking great. It felt amazing, even with a tepid response. It was at Other Bar. I went up Other Bar my first time, and just getting a few chuckles at Other Bar was fucking the Highlander beheading, dude. It was like lightning, my arm. I am immortal. The whole deal, dude. The whole deal. It was amazing.
And that is a tough room too. And I love when Ken ran it and Kermit's running it now, and he's at Harry Buffalo now. But man, good times at the Other Bar for sure. Every Monday nights, used to anyhow. And the third one was you mentioned Dennis Leary's No Cure for Cancer, and what are your favorite? And that one, what's your favorite comedy special and comedy record albums?
I mean, I got to mention Steve Martin, of course.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, I'm weird about comedy. Honestly, the last thing I probably watched was Chelsea Peretti's one where there was dogs in the audience and stuff. That's been a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed that. That was fun. But I'm weird where for me, it's like sports. I'm not gonna watch sports on TV, but if we go to a baseball game, I'll get a hot dog and I'll go watch comedy at a club. I'll hang out and I'll host a show or whatever. But just watching comedy, I don't like podcasts with just one person. You got to have two people minimum for me. Any one voice for too long, it's me. I can't do it.
Indeed. Man, I've only been to one baseball game too, which was the Rockies versus the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Oh
Okay.
man, and the Dodgers
It's
beat the
awesome, right?
Rockies.
It's
Heck yeah,
great. There's
dude.
like an energy. It's exciting. It's fun. Fuck yeah, dude.
Indeed, and I when I used to eat pork, I had the Dodger dogs, and you can't go to Dodger Stadium without having a Dodger dog.
How is it? How is it? I've heard of Dodger Dogs. How was it?
That's a great. Indeed, it was tasty, but they were pretty
Oh,
lengthy and expensive, but it was
okay.
but worth the price though for sure.
Get
And
what
I
you
got
pay
a
for. Sure, sure. Yeah.
indeed, and I got like a Kemp bobblehead from the thing, and so it was pretty cool.
Fuck
I
yeah.
dig it. And let's see here. On the fourth one that we had was like if you can go on tour with any comedian locally, and I threw in locally for the new ones, and well known, which comedians would you go on tour with?
Oh man, locally, man, I love Alex Luchin. I love hanging out and talking with Alex Luchin. If I could rope Alex Luchin to some kind of tour, that would be amazing. That would be fun. Otherwise, I would pick somebody rich like Jim Gaffigan that gets like the fully equipped tour bus or something like that, like just for richness sake. You know who would be fun? Like Carrot Top. I've always liked Carrot Top. I remember watching Carrot Top on VH1 Stand Up Spotlight in like the fucking late '80s as a kid, and being like, I love this guy. He was so funny back then, and like the whole way through, dude. Chairman of the board, everything. I love Carrot Top.
Most definitely. And some of those cats have been on TV and film, and I want to know what your favorite sitcoms, sketch shows, and comedy films are.
Dude, my top three TV shows of all time are Cheers, Twin Peaks, and just recently breaking into the top three, the first season of King of the Hill. It is a perfect season of television. It's amazing. But I know there's diversity and update issues with Cheers, but God, it's so funny. I love Cheers. I love Sam. I love Coach. Cheers was like one of the first shows that taught me that good TV is character driven, and like you can do anything in a show if you got good characters. And then Twin Peaks, to me, it was like perfect comedy, perfect drama, all mixed together, and then it could be scary at any given second. Lynch is just a fucking genius, and Twin Peaks is a perfect show.
Indeed, and sketch shows.
I like, I've got my favorite Saturday Night Live period. Of course, I think it was like the Adam Sandler years was when I was in high school. That's my cast, and my dad, of course, made me watch like from Belushi forward. So like Saturday Night Live, Kids in the Halls, always good. If you're gonna make me pick one sketch show, The State. The State was the best. I
Indeed,
love The State.
on MTV. Good stuff. I
Yes.
believe.
And
Yep.
then all those guys since then, Ken Marino, Thomas, what's his name? All those guys since then did great stuff too.
Most definitely. And comedy films.
Comedy films, I like Spaceballs. Just recently reviewed Spaceballs, and that holds up very good. Highly recommend. I don't know. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And let's see here. If you can get roasted by 5 comedians, past and present, which ones would you pick?
Does it have to be comedians? Because I would go back to like the Dean Martin days, and like Ronald Reagan might drop in at a certain point. Sammy Davis Jr. I want him in there. Nikki Glazer. I want Nikki Glazer to roast me. She is a fucking cold ninja of roasting. I love her stuff more than anybody. Norm Macdonald. I want Norm Macdonald sitting up there doing a crossword puzzle, not listening to anybody. And then other than that, let's throw Dane Cook in there just so there's like a big target on the stage too.
Absolutely. Nikki Glazer, I saw her in
The
comedy.
best. Nikki
Indeed.
Glazer, pound for pound, maybe the best roaster in America ever.
Most definitely. She was awesome at the Comedy Zone in Jacksonville before the roast of someone recently, the one that she was on recently. And man, it was pretty brutal. Good stuff.
She's brutal. I love her. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And where do you see your comedy career in the next 5 years?
Shit. Hopefully, first of all, hopefully comedy comes back. Hopefully comedy happens again. And hopefully the Bull and Bush opens back up so I can get back to hosting that and nothing else.
Indeed.
And it's funny the next 5 years because that's exactly that gets my last kid out of high school. So let's see what happens after that. But until then, stuff within 2 miles of my house, and every once in a while I might make it out to Cocoa Beach-ish.
Most definitely. And so, which other forms comedy would you like to venture off into, like comedy writing? You're doing podcasting and.
I would love to do a TV show. Like I said, TV is my favorite thing. I love TV, and doing a TV show would be great. But I'd be perfectly happy just being a twice a month comedy host until I die. That'd be fine with me too. But ideally, a TV show would be great. I'd like a sitcom of some sort. Maybe it's a TV show.
Most definitely. And my next question would be like where they could find you online and on social media, which is on the bottom there. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel and follow Ross on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff. And on Facebook with the Orlando Talk Show with Ross McCoy and all that good stuff. And so the next question I would ask would be, what's your favorite joke a comic has ever written?
I mean, a lot of Mitch Hedberg stuff. The frozen banana thing is a great joke in any situation. Like for any Mitch Hedberg joke, it's just perfect.
Indeed. And I love his like one-liners, and even watching him like on the Letterman show and all that good stuff. It's like, wow.
I got one time, there was like a Mitch Hedberg, what do you call it when you like record illicitly? There was like just tapes of him at different clubs and stuff. And I got a tape of him at the 40 Watt in Athens where I flunked out of college. And but I saw many a show at the 40. I saw Guar at the 40 Watt and stuff. So I downloaded Mitch Hedberg at the 40 Watt, and he does a solid 45. He does like whatever his 45 is at the time. And then he goes, "Okay, guys, just go ahead and shout him out." And like people start shouting his punchlines at him, and he's like, "All right." And he does the joke, and then he keeps going. And he's like, and somebody's like, "Banana." He's like, "I did the banana one." Like they start saying once again, say, "Anybody with a new one?" And he just stood there and did all of his jokes for everybody until they were satisfied. It was fucking amazing. Well, one of the greatest feats of comedy I've ever stolen and then listened to illicitly.
That's so awesome. I love when like the comics or like when people know your jokes and they're waiting for it. It's just a cool thing. It's kind of like being in a band.
One of the only times I've ever encountered that was when I was working for Bonkers quite a bit, and I would run out to Crystal River a lot. And it was my car race set. And there was one lady who was like a huge Ross McCoy fan, and she's like, "I'm waiting for the car race thing every time." It was nice to see, even though she obviously knew what was coming. She still wasn't going to enjoy it, and it was nice to see her in the audience sometimes at Crystal River.
Absolutely, indeed. And Guar puts on some hell of a shows, and man, they get smashed.
I lost my glasses and a shoe at the Guar show at the 40 Watt, and I found my glasses. I had to walk home with one shoe.
That's good stuff. I got drenched with their bodily fluids one time.
I had the T-shirt for a long time. I had a T-shirt from a blood drive. It was like "Give Blood," and it was drenched, and I kept it for a long time like that.
Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Let's see here. We covered all the bases. Do you have any like other bases you would like to cover? Since we have
what's up with you, man? How you doing? You're doing a million shows now. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, just since I can't go anywhere, I'm putting on these 6 like live streams, and I'm like,
exactly, yeah, it's the peak time of back laundry room creativity.
Indeed. Hopefully they come out and do something, because like I'm trying to raise like funds and followers for everyone that's on these shows, and I might as well do that, and that's like the only way the only thing that I can do to bring value to everyone and still do journalism and still talk about my adventures as a journalist and a comedian and stuff like that. And so these definitely help and reconnect with old pals and not get bored and being at home in Palm Coast, because Palm Coast, there's nothing really to do here. And with quarantine on top of it, it's just really nothing to do here. So I'm like, I might as well make the most of my time while I'm here with the live streams. So
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. And it's such a huge honor for, to have like the best of Orlando, the best local comedian from 2016 on the bill with me as the first guest ever. So, man, I haven't voted for anyone this year because of, we're in the secret group. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I see what you mean. And so, but I'm like, they have that in my hometown too, and they don't even have like a category for best band. And there's like 50 bands that are that are in town that I know of, and I'm like, you guys are so out of touch with the local scene. No disrespect to the publications, but the best of stuff kind of pits everyone to get against each other. We're trying to be like, one big happy family. But
Me and Big Tim were talking about this recently. Big Tim Murphy, this week in Chicken Fingers, his podcast a bunch ago. We were talking about this recently, and I think that because they obviously they want more categories, they want more people, they want more clicks. If we're gonna be honest, they want clicks at the end of the day. I think they should do best host in Orlando, best comedy guest spot in Orlando. They should do best comedy feature, best comedy headliner. And then let everybody jump into those slots where they want to, and and then at the end of that, you got the best comedy lineup in Orlando. It makes, if they understood comedy at all, they do something like that, I think.
Indeed, that's a great suggestion. And so there's so many amazing comics in Orlando, and everyone that I've met and interviewed, and including yourself. And it's just like, well, you guys have been awesome to me like the whole time, and that's why I'm so glad I have you as my first guest, because like you got me my very first paid gig, and you run like one of the best rooms that I've ever performed in all of the nation, and I've performed coast to coast, and it's just nothing like the Bull and Bush, and you can always go next door and grab some tacos, and that's what I love.
Yeah, Gringos is right there. Yes, indeed.
Indeed. I haven't had a Scotch egg yet because I'm like, I don't eat beef or anything, and I don't eat eggs, so I'm just like, dang it, I wish there was like another option. So,
yeah, I think it's pork sausage they use, so that's even worse for you probably.
Oh, most definitely. And
yeah.
And we talked about not eating pork anymore with the Dodger dogs, and so that's a callback for you. Indeed, man. And many final shout outs you'd like to give and out there to all the folks out there on YouTube land?
I mean, just check out my podcast, The Orlando Talk Show with Ross McCoy. Just today, released an episode with a guy I'd love to hear on a podcast, Josh Adam Myers, a comedian from LA. And then go ahead and subscribe because not it's coming Thursday, but the next Thursday. Last night we just talked to Tim Dorsey, iconic Florida writer, and that was a really, really good talk. That was really fun.
Man, good stuff. I love. I think you interviewed Carmen Morales one time, and
yeah. One of the most recent ones was Morales.
Yeah, she's good stuff, and she puts on one heck of a Zoom stand-up comedy show. So definitely look
hilarious, dude. We bought a $10 ticket, and we got to see Ron Funches and Maria Bamford in our goddamn living room. Man, it was amazing. It was awesome.
Indeed, I had to bring that back because that's what we talked about off the record. So, man, it's a huge honor. Thank you so much, Ross, for being on my first guest.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you asking me. It's an honor on my end as well.
Thank you, boss. I will see you soon, I hope, somewhere in at Sareth Fest. I'm going to keep that running just for you because I promised you a spot there in the future.
I do. I got a spot guaranteed still. Okay, sweet. I wanted to check. I wanted to make sure. Next Bull and Bush lineup, I'm going to hit you up and see if you're available for that too.
Awesome. You have actually a couple of them lined up because you booked me a couple of times at the Bull and Bush, and that's my way of thanking you for all those years, for all those vouchers that you gave the golden ticket to, and with you and Doug, and I couldn't have asked for more for putting my pals up on stage with me, the ones that I vouched for. So thank you so much.
Anytime.
Awesome, bud. Well, Ross, thank you so much for being my guest, and subscribe, follow him on all those socials, and all that good stuff. And I'll send you the link as soon as I put it on my website too.
Yeah, let me know. Sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome, bud. I'll see you soon.
See you. Bye.